Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Burt, the FV304, the Tier 6 British SPG, located on the south spawn of Halluf Encounter. This one is under the command of a fingernail clipping, and he has 3 marks of excellence on the howitzer of his vehicle. Game on! Well, it's a 4.5-inch howitzer, and as you know, it's capable of 450 alpha, 28mm pen, and a 2.2 meters burst radius. But one of the best things about this Arty is the fire rate. It's got massive DPM. By the book, its DPM is 2086, which is very, very high. It's only bettered by the FV in the game, that is the 105FH18B2, or Leppy, as you might know. Oh, he's driving a bit wild. It has got a very high top speed, 72 kilometers an hour, which is, yes, very fast. And he's positioning it so he can hit the enemy tanks coming in from the north. Okay, well, the short time on reload is 12.94 seconds by the book, but he is capable in this vehicle of doing 10.12. Can get it quicker if you use vents or you use consumables. And you can see, because it's a short range Arty, it actually has to get closer to the target, which means the lapse between the shell being fired and reaching the target is relatively short. Now, he's moved to a position where he can just about get shots on some of those enemy tanks. Having a bit of difficulty with that one, but he can probably hit the 45 TP who decides not to cross the gap. Okay, he's lined up, rounds out, but it's probably going to hit the rock face. Yep, it did. You could tell that because occasionally he was getting a red line, and the red line was indicating that there's an obstruction between him and the target. Well, that sort of like indicates to the enemy you're under fire and you're within range of the Arty. Rounds out. Notice how the red line was interrupted there by the Progetto 54. That's also a good trick which is useful to learn, so that you know when the enemy vehicle has actually moved straight through the path, or the imaginary path, of the shell, and if you can hit it. Okay, he's lined up, rounds out, and another hit. But that one actually only hit the tracks and damaged them. Now, as Jingles once said, it's the death by 1,000 cuts, because once you actually get within range of a FV and they're dialed in on you, these shells just keep raining in on the target until eventually you're wiped out. Rounds out. Another direct hit. Despite the fact that that TNH 1000 actually managed to, 105 1000 rather, managed to get a hit, we took care of him as well. Rounds out, and yes, that hit the 45 TP. Oh, he got it. He set fire to him. He aimed that shot at the engine deck and it burned the enemy to death. So he set fire to him. Yeah, very nicely done. Okay, he's moving position because the enemy's getting kind of close. But there's a Skoda just around the corner. And although he's fast enough to run away from the Skoda, he doesn't really want to meet him face to face, because this thing really doesn't have any armor. It's only 14mm of armor all the way around, so any shell is going to perforate him. In fact, he's moved far enough away now that he can still hit the guys in that corner, the northwest corner, but it's actually much further away. He can't hit the vehicles on the far end of the map. Now, that Skoda's still getting close, but he's very short on hit points. Now, he watched where he turned there. Turned as if he was going to drive to the north. In fact, he's pulling back. I think he's worried that somebody is going to come around the corner and kill him. And the TNH just killed another of our teammates. And in fact, actually, the S51 on our team just killed this Skoda. So we don't have to worry about him anymore. TNH, almost loaded. Fires one in ahead of his path. Goes over the top of him. You can see one of the rounds actually did hit the corner of the turret. Okay, he doesn't have a shot now because the towers are in the way. If he gets to the top of that slope, then he can probably put a round into him. Rounds out. Well aimed. He got 61 hit points. But unfortunately, we did lose the ISM. And now we've got the Chrysler GF going in. Now, can we get a shot through that gap? Not really. That TNH 105-1000 is being a lot more problems than I thought he would be. It also doesn't help that the FV304 was parked on an upslope with its rear end pointing upwards, which meant, of course, that it shortened the range by pointing the gun at the ground. He's trying to get the Hellcat. He should get it this time if he can stay still long enough. Yes! That went straight into the cockpit, the Hellcat, and killed the crew. Blew the thing to pieces. Hellcats are another vehicle with very low armor. Well, the Chrysler's down to just 13 hit points now, and I think he's gonna... Yeah, he's going down to the TNH. That guy has actually been quite resilient. He's actually killed 3 of our team. Rounds out. Oh! He got the kill! Fingernail Clipping has got his 3rd kill of the game, but the enemy's now capping. Trouble is, we can't see anyone because there's only 3 guys left on our team. And one of those, the Super Hellcat, is way down in the south and he needs to come north. It's all about the cap area. At the moment, all the Fingernail Clipping can do is keep firing rounds in the hope that he will actually hit the spot. But the cap's so big that that's really difficult. Okay, spotted a Cheetu on the enemy team. There's 5 players on the enemy team, by the way. Rounds out. Just 5 left. So round numbered. And the enemy Arty is going after our Super Hellcat. And you can see that the roundels appearing near where the Super Hellcat's located. But he's very short on hit points now, so we might actually have to go into the cap and find out where the guy is and shotgun them directly. Now, as it's an encounter game, it takes much longer than usual. Twice as long. Okay, Fingernail Clipping keeps changing his aim. There's the T25AT. You get around? Yes! He got the kill. Now, there's 4 members left on the enemy team and 2 left on ours. Still outnumbered 2-1. They killed the Hellcat. So he's going to have to go in now and try and get the enemy. The S51's a very slow RT. It's going to take him ages to get down there. But of course, we need him to help us now. We're going to go in and do the spotting. And with our very fast vehicle, 72.4, he should be able to get some spotting in, find out where the enemy is, and the S51 can then get a shot. But there's still 2 tank destroyers on the enemy team. One of them is more than likely actually in the cap. Now, this is odd because he's going around, but I think I can understand what he's trying to do. He's going to go around the far side of the cap, not appear at the gap in the middle, because if he did that, he might get spotted and then they'll shoot at him. But if he actually goes around the other side, he should be able to spot the target and then drive out of the way of the target before they can fire on him. He just needs to maintain his speed as he goes round. And he's found him, and it's the SU-100. And, oh, now he's not going to get a shot that way, but he can brake and turn at the same time and then get a shot. Well, he tried. Unfortunately, well, there's the M12, and he's actually hindering his own teammate now. Well, we managed to get a hit, but the problem now is that we got hit as well by the enemy Hummel. So he's trying for the shotgun. He got one! He got one shotgun into the SU-100, but the M12 also had a go at us. It's very difficult when you've got 2 enemy tanks to kill at the same time. We've also got the S51, hopefully. Oh, the Hummel got us. And we can see the Hummel is over on the other side of the battlefield. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the third-class tanker for fingernail clipping in the FV304. He managed to get a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly. He got an arsonist because he set light to one of the enemy tanks, the 45 TP. The shell landed on the engine deck and set fire to him. He also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 8 in total. And his win rate from the game was 4,776, which is Super Unicum standard. But sadly, it was a loss because the rest of the tanks on his team were just no good. And of course, one of the enemy tanks, the TNH 105-1000, was a very good player. But fingernail clipping managed to get him in the end, but not before the enemy got somebody in the cap. And it was quite a tough cookie to try and crack, and that's the SU-100. They are fairly difficult to take down, and they do usually have a big 122mm gun if they've got the top gun, which can wipe you out with just one shot. So he's trying to duel with 2 enemy tanks in the cap, and of course the Arty firing shells in as well. It was just too difficult for him in the end, and the S-51 got taken out by the Chi-2 SP. So there was no way he was going to actually provide any help. So unfortunately, it's a loss, but it was a good loss. He fought all the way. The enemy TNH 105-1000 got the highest damage in the game, 2,990. Second highest damage of Progetto 54 with 2,308. And the third highest damage was the GeForce 1008 on his own team with 1,893. You can see that fingernail clipping got 1,618, so it's not bad. And when it came to kills, he had the highest number of kills with 4. 3 kills went to the TNH 105-1000, the Chi-2 SP, and the third place was the S-51, the Progetto 54, and the T-2580, and also the Hummel on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, well, the enemy team got, the TNH got 1,193, the only player to get over 1,000. Progetto 54 got 839, the Chi-2 SP 743, and the highest base XP on his own team, 513 for fingernail clipping. He fired 30 rounds, so he still had plenty left when he got wiped out. 12 direct hits on the enemy, 1 penetrating shot. Now, I suspect that might be the 45 TP, the one that set fire to the enemy, but it's not. It was actually the Hellcat, the one where he shot the shell right into the cockpit and it blew up. So yes, that was a good one. It was a very well dialed in aim. He also got 17 splashes, 1,618, of which 1,330 were at more than 300 meters. Yes, he did get some close range damage on the enemy in the cap. 3 hits by way of splash damage from the enemy Arty. It was the Hummel that got him in the end. 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 7 enemy vehicles damaged, 4 killed, 218 hit points of damage assistance. On a free-to-play account, he earned 8,499 credits from the game and 513 base XP, but I'm afraid, yes, it was a loss. So at least he tried. But we do have another replay in the BERT, the FV304, so let's have a look at that one. And here's the second replay, and we're on the east spawn of Malinovka, and the name of the player is Death Touch 2013. And he's got 2 marks of excellence on the barrel of that 4.5-inch howitzer. Game on. Well, I can say to you right away that the 4.5-inch howitzer is actually the wrong gun to be on the FV304. In actual fact, it should be the 5.5-inch howitzer you find on the Crusader SP. And if it was, that would actually make it the FV305 instead of the FV304. In fact, the 4.5-inch howitzer never appeared on either the Bishop or even the FV304, and wasn't really planned for the Crusader either. In fact, it only really appeared during the war as the main armament for the Finnish BT-42. The Finns captured a load of BT-7s, and as you know, BT stands for Boostere Tanki, or fast tank, and what they did is they converted them to try and turn them into their version of the KV-2. The 4.5-inch howitzer was their version of the 15cm M10, or 15cm, I should say, 152mm M10 howitzer that the KV2's mounted. And the idea was for the booster the Tanky 42 to actually get really close to the enemy bunkers and then blast them with a howitzer at close range. And then because it was a very, very small and fast tank, he'd be able to get away from the enemy fire before they could do anything to him. So there you go. It's the wrong Arty. It's the wrong gun, at least, the wrong howitzer, and it should be a much more powerful one. Okay, enemy tank in sight, and it's a due to, and he's adjusting his aim, letting it settle in. Rounds out. Good shot. With the first one, he got a hit for 113. Now, I'm not sure if Death Touch actually knows, but there is a way of actually looking directly at the target without having to scroll the mouse every time. What you can do is you can actually hold down your control key, your left control key, and then move the cursor over the minimap and right click on the spot you want to see. Oh, that was a good one. 174 from that. And if you use the left control key and the mini mouse or mini map, you can get onto the target much, much quicker. Another good hit. That was on the engine deck. In fact, actually, it looks like it hit the side of the turret rather than the engine deck. It's a little hole there now. Okay, try again. Rounds out. Yes, he's getting excellent shots on this guy. In fact, our teammates are doing the same, and there you go, the target's gone. Now he's scrolling across. Scrolling's not wrong, it's just a slow way of actually adjusting the aim. In fact, everybody has to adjust the aim manually at the end. It's just quicker to actually move over greater distances. That guy's tracked. Line it up, rounds out, looks good. It is. 192 from that one. That was a biggie. And in fact, you can see the shell landed just on front of the front deck, the flat area just in front of the turret. Fires another one in blind, and it's a good shot as well. So he's actually helping his team a lot because he's forcing that Churchill to pull back. Now, the other good thing, of course, about this Arty, apart from the fact that I said it's got a very fast reload, is, of course, the massive speed it does. 72.4 kilometers an hour. You can almost race the light tanks with it. And when some players play games where they're racing other light tanks, it is actually quite normal for somebody to actually pick a Burt as their steed in the race, because it's so much faster. It's also fairly wide. Of course, if you remember, when they started the game, the Burt used to be a lot smaller than it is now. In fact, it used to be able to act like a TD, because it would get alongside an enemy tank and literally troll them, because, of course, the guns couldn't depress enough to actually hit the Burt. Well, he's moving back down. I did notice while he was firing that he did look away after shooting sometimes, and you shouldn't really do that because you need the information you get from actually firing on the enemy. If you look away, you won't see what the shell does, and it's important to learn if the shell hits a blind target. You might be aiming at one target, but there might be another target sitting right next door to you. In fact, that happened to me when I first started playing the game. I was in an M41 HMC aiming at an enemy tank. I fired, and I didn't hit the tank I was aiming at. I actually hit a Hetzer that was sitting right alongside the enemy tank I aimed at, and the Hetzer was completely wiped out with that one shot. But it's all about learning what information the actual shell will give you. We can see that there's 3 Arty in those woods up ahead. One of them just fired at one of our guys, the Easy 8. Now those guys are going to move through the woods very shortly. We're trying to get as close as we can. Of course, as you know, this is a short range Arty. You can see the outer range map, that little yellow ring. And there's the SU-8. Okay, now let's see if we can get an accurate shot on him. There he is. Oh, he goes down very quickly. Yes, but they are very tall Artys, the SU-8. KV2 by the cap. He's just about within range. I think we can... It's almost at maximum range. You can see we've got a flattened reticule, but we can do tremendous damage to this guy. Ah, he's doing it again, you see. Now, I accept sometimes I press my mouse button too hard and it pops out of aim. And I know that's my fault, but I correct it after I've done it. You do need to have that information. Well, you can't see the enemy at the moment. Oh, there's a Firefly 5C. So you might as well go for that whilst you can. He's adjusted his aim. Now he can get the shell over the top of the rock into the Firefly. He's doing it. Rounds out. Well, he got a bit of splash, but it didn't hit the target. But the next shell could hit that Firefly roof. Oh, he went down. Now they've still got one Arty, the M12. We don't know where he is. The T-78's outside range, so we can't get him. But the best thing we can do right now is possibly to get closer to the woods and find out where the enemy is. The AMX 12 ton is moving in that direction. Okay, we can sit this side of the woods. Okay, the AMX 12 ton. Now pre-aim ahead of the AMX 12 ton, because he's going to see them first. But if you're pre-aimed in their direction, there you go. There's one. And another. Oh, he fires in. Oh, he got a bit of splash. Now, we lost the AMX 12 ton, but we've still got the Waffenträger. So, try and get a shot on him. He fires blind. Doesn't get anything. So, we know where they are. Now, they're going to try and reset the cap. Our other tanks are just too far away. The Giro over the other side of the battlefield. The Arty are not going to be able to go in there. They're too far away. Now he's trying to get close without being spotted. In fact, they're going into the cap, but they're so low on hit points. If they do, they'll probably get killed the moment the IKV or Waffenträger fires. Again, he's looking in. He might have to go in there and actually get them close. Oh, the IKV's gone. The enemy, or not the enemy, our M12 got him, which leaves only one, the Waffenträger. Now, he could go in there and try and shotgun him at close range. That would be the best thing to do right now. That's what I would do. Go in and find the steer. There he is. He's on the move. Okay, line up the shot. Okay, line him up. Rounds out. Well, he didn't get the kill. The M12 did, but it was a good game all the same. Just don't look away when you fire. Here's the end of battle stats, and this was a second-class tanker for Def Touch 2013 in the Burt, the FV304. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 6. And he got a win rate of 2,675. He didn't get any other medals, but that is quite a high win rate. That's Unicum standard. So it shows that he has a lot of promise. He was doing very well. He does have better replays from the Burt, but he thought we should see this one. Anyway, we can see that he didn't get the highest damage in the game. The Waffenträger got 3,732 hit points. He picked up the high caliber. Second highest damage was the IKV 65-2 with 1,703. And third highest actually went to, Def Touch. He got 1,633. It was the highest damage on his team. When it came to kills, he didn't get any at all, but the high score again was that Waffenträger. 5 kills. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that. It came on again. 5 kills to the Waffenträger. 3 kills went to the M12, who was very effective, and the Easy 8 got 3 kills as well, but no kills, I'm afraid, to Def Touch. When it came to base XP, though, we can see that the high scorer in this game was the AMX 12 ton, and that's because he did spotting. He got a patrol duty in that game. He got 1,118, and I think the spotting he did, if we look at that, we can see, yes, 5,124 hit points of spotting assist in that game. So that's why he deserved the high base XP. 751 went to the Super Hellcat, 696 to the M44, and Deft Touch managed to get 596. He fired 16 rounds in the game, so not a lot of rounds, but he did get a decent amount of damage for those rounds. He got 11 direct hits, 14 splashes, 1,633 hit points, of which 1,378 were at more than 300 meters. 4 enemy vehicles were damaged, 219 hit points of damage assistance, and on a free-to-play account, he earned 6,617 credits from that game, and he got 596 base XP. It was a good game. He did pretty much, I mean, the fact that he was actually forcing those enemy tanks to go back down the hill and not giving them a chance to engage our guys at the top of the hill. And our guys were actually enjoying themselves shooting at those guys as they were forced back bit by bit. So yeah, that was a good game. I enjoy it when the Arty has an actual effect upon the enemy tanks and forces them to behave in a way that they don't want to. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed both of those replays. If you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.